Hello, Proxy Table Gaming, PTG. I'm Hyper G. He's Lucky Sixes.
Watch out!
Wachow.
Is that
Wow,
a thing?
you blindsided me. It,
I'm
it
I'm
is
basically a
now.
wrestler, right? That's
Yeah, yeah. With your little gimmicky hand gestures.
and
Can't think of
and
what
some you can't
other.
see as well. So
All right, that trumps what I was going to say. So, yep, you win. Right, we're
good.
eagerly, eagerly into Art of War.
We are
War.
getting all the
Seven.
things out of the way. This is 3.0 as of the 28th of January
Yes.
update.
Which is
Um,
not the most
it's
recent, but
just
we have tournaments, so you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. But this was Art of War. Art of War in at the end of February. We're only just
Mm.
getting to it now because of all the reps we already had. But
Yep.
it was very, very fun. Unfortunately, I was not there though.
No, big boo-hoo on that
Mm,
regard. Yes, yes. You prioritized a different family, didn't you?
I
Lucky
did. Yeah,
Sixes.
but
You know,
the
your
wrong
lesser
family.
family got your attention,
Yes,
which I think is grossly, you know, you've been suitably scorned for said behavior, and
arguably.
you know, you will make it up to us, I'm sure, in the future.
But
So yeah.
look,
So just me.
it wasn't. And look what if we look at the screen, what
Mm.
wonderful a job Dan did. He went to so
Oh,
much
doesn't he
trouble,
always?
guys, that he
Hmm.
got a professional photographer in,
Yeah,
and even
it's
posed in
amazing,
his
isn't it?
best suit for us,
Yeah,
and then
even
put it
got
in
the
a
gold
booklet.
tooth. Yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, he said how much those earrings hurt, but
Mm,
just get
yeah.
on with it, Goblin. Don't
Oh,
complain about these things.
come on,
Know your
scabbers.
role. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It
round
was an
one.
awesome job, TOing, full stop. I'm sure we'll
Yes.
mention it many times.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
round one wasn't wasn't grudged by this opponent, but you'd be confused. You'd be forgiven for thinking so because 2 years previous, I was grudged by this opponent in round one of Out of War, Matty Champion, making
Yes.
his wonderful return to ninth age, having I don't think played many games since the Art of War previous.
Yeah.
He's turned his attention to life as you do, and 40k. Boo. No, not boo. We just never played it, so we can't really say boo, but nonetheless. Yeah, and yeah, awesome draw for me for round one because Matty Champion is a delight for everyone that he encounters.
Yes.
Um, and his Infernal Dwarfs means that it's almost a rerun of his list that he took against me when I played Orcs and Goblins 2 years ago at Art of War.
And speaking of
So
lists,
there's a little
oh,
bit of an extra twist to this one, isn't there?
I
Off you
don't,
go.
I don't know about you, but I really like this list.
Well, I didn't get a choice in the matter.
No, you didn't.
Um, yeah, talk us
Um,
through my list, Lucky Sixes.
yeah. So, I guess as we've already mentioned, I was not there, but I was there in
No,
spirit because
you
I
were.
picked your list for you,
You did. Yes, I was
and we
foolish
went
enough to allow you to run wild
yes.
with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The biggest regret of your life. Do you want to pick my list for me? So we went
yeah.
super aggro, and we went as much. I really like from SA the idea that you can get all this magic without really pumping
A
into
caster.
magic too much.
Mm,
Um,
you definitely can. Yeah.
Although arguably with all the adepts now getting three and stuff like that. But anyway, so
Yeah.
I liked. I wanted to go as aggro as possible. We've got two Carnosaurs, two Kaiman mentors, a big
Yeah.
block of warriors. The
Mm,
skinkies, just for skinky purposes. The
scoring.
the
Yeah.
spearback weapon beasts, which have been pretty useful up to now.
Yeah. I
The
like them.
mystics to get some magic in, and
Hmm.
a raptor pack with ambush just to add to a bit of aggro. Not too much, not
Yeah.
too expensive. In terms of
That
the
was a curveball, that
characters,
was. Mm,
yeah, yeah, it's just yeah, so something I'm quite intrigued by as a concept, and I'm
mm.
looking out for how aggro you play this aggro list. That's
Let's see.
that's my big
I was
thing.
told that I've just got to run at my
Hmm.
opponents and charge and fight and get on with it.
Yes,
Um, so
so
yeah.
that will be
Mm.
the whip to which you are judged.
Okay. Judging usually comes swiftly in these battle reports,
Hmm.
That's why I'm keep coming back for more.
In terms of the characters, the Kano guy has Eldritch inscriptions. Rerolls to hit and wound one time.
Yep, first strike. Yep,
And
indeed.
Talisman of the Void again to try and
Correct
pip in all
channel.
this magic from different places. The
Hmm.
Combat Legend, both of them are Combat Legend, but the Kaiman Mentor with the magic has Vital Essence, and without has Death Cheater.
Yeah, so one
Otherwise,
was rocking an extra HP basically from Vital
yes.
Essence, and the other one had an additional armor. So I
Mm.
was noting that difference down with a little potion marker that we got from
Ooh,
Masters Open.
yeah, which is
And I
very
actually had
cool.
to paint one of these guys, especially for
Yeah,
this tournament, which
Hobby
I was
G.
fairly happy with the job that I did on actually. I quite, yeah, have a little look at him when he comes up in a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing of note is the Stalker Standard on the big block to mean that
Yeah.
terrain is not a thing to think about. So, yes,
Mm,
we
yeah.
move on. Against you is Matty's list, and he's brought
Yeah.
all the artillery.
Indeed, and it was very much very similar to the list he played 2 years ago because this is Matt's collection
Mhm.
basically. So he's just adapted it into current rules. So he's got a Prophet of Asherak, which is a lot of fire basically, and a bit of a jiggery pokery with the spells he can take. He's got a Vizier, BSB, who goes in with the blunderbusses, Infernal Warriors, in with the Infernal Bastion. So that unit is quite well renowned. It just pumps out a lot of shots and hitting on fives, but causing lots of chaos. And it's got, static combat res for days. So really cool. Citadel Guard Flintlock Axe with the banner of twice branded. Is it
Mm.
twice branded or thrice branded? Um,
It's thrice because it's you
yeah.
can. Well, I don't know actually, but it's
Third
the
rank.
extra
Yeah.
rank, the third rank
Oh,
of
well, that
shooting,
yeah, that's what
basically.
it does. It gives a third rank of shooting, but
Yeah,
either way, that twice branded works just as well.
yeah.
A big book of
It's
immortals with infernal weapons, flaming standard, always terrifying. Yeah, the three rocket, well, not the three rocket batteries, thankfully. Three artillery, all very, very good in the current
Mhm.
iteration of Ninth Age. Certainly in this iteration, maybe a little bit of nerfing has gone on since this tournament, but I haven't looked at it in enough detail to confirm. Enforcers, paired weapons, always useful. Scoring unit, and then a Kadim Titan, which is definitely one of Matt's go-to choices.
Yeah. In
Mm.
terms of the objective, it was spoils of war,
Yep.
cornerstone in terms of the
Hmm.
deployment, and for those of you that want to read the
There it
first
is.
mission, so in a
Yes.
nutshell, it is.
Yeah, a higher or lower was the gamble that you wanted to do, and so basically we were drawing from a set of cards, and if you kept on getting it correct, then you got an amount of rerolls during the game. That was actually not so much the secondary objective. Actually, I've gone to skip right to the bottom there, but that was actually the quirk of Art of War 7. Was
Mm,
there a lot of gambling
yes. Yeah,
related
yeah.
things going on? And yeah, the secondary objectives were randomly chosen from your usual army thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was the cool little quirk of Art of War, some gambling stuff going on. I got Workers 1 as my secondary, which meant that I had to get scoring within the center of the table without my opponent having them there. Um, insert grumble grumble about Saurian secondaries. And he had unleashed the big guns, which is terrifying. I'd never come across it before, but
Mm.
it very much suited his shooty army. You can have a read of that, but it basically meant that he just had to, you know, well, actually, I will read a bit because it's got a fair amount of crossing out. But yeah, it's
Units with
I can't even
shooting, basically,
remember.
you have to
Yeah,
get into terrain,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, not to spoil things, but I don't think Matt prioritized it in terms
Hmm.
of his activity. But we'll go through that as the battle goes on. Um,
So proud
I
of you.
finally, I
I'm so
finally
proud of
got an
you.
army pick. Finally got an army pick. There it is for you, boys and girls. Some of the Raptors did have riders still attached because they were the first riders that I built, and they're not blue tacked on. They're actually glued on, and I didn't want to prize them off.
Hmm.
But the more recent Raptors that I've painted, I have got blue tack putting the riders on, which means they can easily convert into just Raptors, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Big Carnosaur returns from the Open. He lost his sword during the tournament. Bit disappointed about that. I don't know what happened to
Mm.
it. With Baby Carnosaur, as usual, you've seen him. Two blocks of Skinks, as we know, the Tegu. There's the Kaiman Elders. The one on the right is the one I painted for the tournament, which, funnily enough, I couldn't find any arms for him. The arms have gone missing in the world of my pile of shame. So I just glued on random things. So he's got a spike, a Taurosaur horn as an arm. and he's got a Taurosaur scale as a shield arm.
Nice.
So yeah,
Very
I
cool.
just made bit 40k, bit spliced together.
Yeah.
There you
Very
go.
cool.
Deployment wise, I decided to bring my raptors on the board rather than ambushing. So I'm already ignoring one of the factors that you told me to do.
Can't believe it.
The reason for that was that I needed them to appear quickly so that I could think about using them to get to his artillery. And if I didn't roll well on the ambush roll, I just felt that they would turn up too late to be of any use. So I deployed them straight from the off to try and distract matters as I ran forward. Then I got the big Carnosaur going directly opposite the Kadim Titan. That wasn't necessarily a matchup that I liked the look of, but I have got multiple wounds against it. So if I can attack first, I feel like I could get through it fairly quickly.
Sure.
If I can't attack first, or I don't manage to kill it in one go, then I think he kills me. So it's a very bold
Yeah.
matchup,
Something that has
really.
come up, I think we should address,
Yeah.
is the multiple wounds for impact hits for the Carnosaur.
Yes, indeed. Especially, well, that would only be if you took the Stampede Resonator Crystal, which I haven't actually got in this tournament.
Sure.
In the Masters Open, I did take Stampede Resonator Crystal, which traded your stomp attacks into impact hits, one use only. And it's been brought up in discussion that actually, with the Carnosaur having multiple wounds too,
On the profile.
on its profile, that if you got impact hits, you would get multiple wounds, which would be amazing. So I think that is definitely something you should do. I mean, I took it in the Open for the dual round purely, but I didn't have it in this tournament. But it is something that would be useful.
So I just wanted to do that very, very quickly because you did have it before. You don't have it now.
I did.
But it's something that we didn't realize even at the time. So
yeah, I don't think he ever really got in a position where it would have been useful at the Open. But nonetheless, yeah, good to know. There's a Common Mentor just to the right of the big Carnosaur. The Tegu Mystics are behind them. Tegu Warriors in the middle, front and center. There's the other Mentor in front of the Spearbacks. I had to proxy in a Salamander because I only have the 3 Spearbacks at the moment. The 2 Skinks behind, hoping to look inconspicuous and ignored because I'm trying to get into the center for my secondary. Then the other Carnosaur on the right-hand side. For Matty, he's got his Kadim Titan opposite the Carno, like I say. You've got the Mortar behind the unit of Citadel Guard, I think they are. They're the ones with the 3 ranks of shooting, I think. Because in the middle are the Immortals who are in front of the rocket battery. Then he's got the other Infernal Guard. I forget the names of exactly which way around that is, but I think it's the Infernal Guard with the Bastion and the blunderbusses who are in front of the off-kilter blunderbuss. No, flamethrower. Napfrothrower is the off-kilter war machine, and then he's got his Toruk enforcers on the flank. And I think they were one of the units that I think was going to try and get to a terrain piece, although they haven't got shooting, so maybe not. But like I say, I don't think Matt prioritised that secondary objective overly anyway. So. I got first turn and I ran at him. Lucky sixes.
Yes. Good start.
That was what I was told to do. I ran at
him.
Yep, exactly. I ran as fast as I possibly could, fanning out a little bit. Yeah, there's not much more to say about that movement, really. I got foresight off on this guy because it was a possible charge for the Kadim Titan to come into me. So I just wanted to make sure that I got an extra chance of hitting and wound. Well, just hitting, really. Because my defensive isn't great, so he would be hitting me on 3s, but with that, it goes back to 4s. So, that's always useful.
But he chose not to charge?
He chose not to charge. He moved back, the coward that Matty is in this situation. He had a lot of shooting, I didn't. It was the right call. Although I think the Kadim Titan on the charge attacks at the same time as my Carnosaur. So that would be why it would be a good idea for him to get the charge. Otherwise, I think I would be first. Effectively. But yeah, he hung back pretty much all round. He moved the blunderbusses up so that they could get in range of shooting, I think. But other than that, not a lot of activity from the ID at the moment. The one with the blue potion for my Carmen Mentors is the one with Vital Essence. He's got a potion of Vital Essence, is what I was calling
that's
it.
The one. We were hiding.
So that's the one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, fair enough. He did 2 wounds with his shooting on that big Carnosaur, which is not bad. For me, I think I could have taken a lot more. So
what's the blue token on your skinks?
The blue token on my skinks. What is that? Oh, that's the unit with the spell. They're
Okay,
both the same units. I don't think I did that in the rest of the tournament, actually. I think I forgot
fair
to put the
enough.
blue token on whatever, but yeah, that's the one with the spell. Yeah, so I took 2 wounds in shooting and magic, which I could have taken more, so I was happy with that.
More
And
running.
then I'm more running
Come on,
forward, just like I'm told. I mean, the
come on.
mentor on the left doesn't run as far as he could, and yeah, possibly should, but we'll see. I go really aggro with the Alpha Carnosaur. I go and stand right in front of the Titan, thinking that I can get spells off to weigh the combat in my favor.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll see how that goes in a minute. The spearbacks move up to be in range of shooting of the blunderbusses, and yeah, his blunderbusses must have not been in range actually in the last turn because they haven't started peeling off Tego warriors at this point. I got Fountain of Youth to heal a wound on the Alpha Carnosaur, very much useful, and another Foresight. But crucially, I didn't get the spell that I wanted, which I think was an agility buff.
Okay.
And I think I can't remember which spell it is. Was it Entwining Roots that I had on the Skinks? I think
Sure.
that is an agility effect,
Yeah.
if I remember rightly. And that was supposed to be what I was trying to get. That was what I was really saving my dice for, and Matt dispelled that. So, fair play, good call.
Mm.
So it does mean that the Kadim is coming in and attacking first.
Ooh, with the unit.
What I didn't really take into account, because I had in my head that he will stomp infantry for days, my Carnosaur, and it's just an easier target for the guy on top to
Mm.
kill, swing and kill, while my Carnosaur does the multiple wounds to the Kadim Titan and everything.
Okay.
But because of that was in my head, I didn't really expect him to charge with his unit as well. And when he did it, I was like, yeah, that's actually going to add an interesting amount of combat res to the
Yeah.
situation. And that wasn't really something I'd factored in. So I feel like immediately I was caught with my pants down there because
Sure.
I hadn't really. And I think I could have got out of line of sight by moving the Carnosaur slightly
It
to the
looks it.
left.
Yeah,
And
it does look like
like, so I think that was a bit of a lazy thing from me, not
it.
really
Okay.
anticipating he would want to
Game
charge
one.
because they had shooting. So I kind of thought that they were just part of the shooting train.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is an interesting one. He declared discharge, and I was all up for this. I was confident my Kaiman mentor with all these like attacks and weapon master and all sorts. That I could deal with these, and in some ways, to me, that meant my Carnosaur was free to come around the back and start going war machine hunting.
Mm.
So I was quite pleased with this because they could have been an annoyance to catch otherwise.
Yeah.
So they go in and we get ready to start chopping. So that's cool. Also, spoils of war means that you can kill a scoring unit in combat. Is that? Oh, I'd have to be
With a
scoring for
scoring
that,
unit.
wouldn't I? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, forget that. Yeah. He he completes the charge with both of them. I think they were auto, so nothing unusual there. He just shuffles around a bit to get his blunderbusses in shooting range and everything ready to pour death upon me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I took it. Oh, he
I think
gets
it's flammable.
he had a lot of spells which made me ponder my life choices quite a lot. One of them was getting the ID hereditary spell, which is flammable and it reduces my weapon skill and defensive skill or something along those
Yeah,
lines.
sure.
And
Yeah.
that pretty much cancelled out foresight, which was
Mm.
annoying. But also, crucially, it gave me flammable, and the Kadim Titan has got a lot of flaming attacks.
Yeah.
So yeah, not only was I dealing with an extra combat res of unit, I also now had my spell nullified and flammable, so it wasn't looking great. The
Yeah.
blunderbusses unloaded on the spearbacks very well and killed one and a half. So, and then he shot more and killed more. So, yeah, and then he killed more,
Yeah, goodness me.
and
Down to one
I was left
wound.
with 1 wound on my spearbacks, and I really hadn't done a lot with them, which was
Oh,
wow
wow.
wow. And I swear, like even against Matt, who hasn't played much Ninth Age in the last year, he still knew to target the spearbacks because they
Yeah.
are blooming good when they can shoot at full strength, but
Absolutely.
not so good when they've been drilled.
Oh,
Yeah, because he was charging, he was getting his attacks first,
yeah.
um, and mullered, absolutely mullered.
It wasn't even
Um,
close.
It wasn't even combat that did it. Combat res. I don't think the Citadel Guard actually even had to attack. I think
Oh
the
man.
Kadim Titan did it on his own. Um,
Well, that's a big dent in your
it's a big dent.
aggro.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a real problem. I countercharge with the Common Mentor because I kind of feel like I've got to get in combat because I can't
Mm.
just let something else get shot. I was hoping that, by doing that I could avoid the Kadim Titan line of sight, and I could by just placing myself there. So the Kadim Titan
Nice.
can't actually see my Common Mentor, which is
That's
cool.
good.
And I moved the Raptors round out of line of sight of the Kaiman Mentor, just so that of the Kadim, just so the Kadim's got to use a whole turn to decide what it wants to do in his next turn.
Yeah.
And I've got my Skinks now in the middle of the board, ready to back up my Tegu. The Tegu look like they've also taken a round of shooting from
Yeah.
various things because I've lost a fair amount of them.
Blunderby.
Yeah, lots was shooting at me really. But you see in the other Kaiman combat, it went kind of what I expected it to go. I
Oh
did take
yeah.
a wound, but I managed to kill three of his guys despite their. Well, I suppose they've got a lot of armor, but I think they've got their like res 5, so
Yeah.
they
Sure.
they are pretty tough. But it was going my way, and I was very much pleased that I'd got that one right at least. Or at least I thought I had anyway. So fingers crossed I can finish that off. I got Awaken the Beast on this guy just to help him out. It meant that I could choose to take a halberd rather than a great weapon to get the
Mm.
strength I needed to wound on twos.
Yeah.
And that way I could attack first and start denting him. I healed the wound with Fountain of Youth on this guy, so I was feeling
Very
very good
nice.
about that situation.
Yeah.
And you can see, yeah, and that was awesome. I managed to kill him off, and I'm also in his flank for the next turn.
Yeah.
It'll be his turn next, but this really like bothered me because I was aware that I was going in like I think it was 4-1 down on combat res because
Okay.
he
Yeah.
had three ranks and a banner, but I was charging. I really didn't think. Well, he did two wounds to me for one, which is
Mm.
pretty good when you've got a 2-up armor and a 4-up fortitude. I
Sure.
didn't
Yeah.
expect him to do that because he's only what strength 4 at best, I think.
Plus one to wound, I guess.
So
But
yeah, yes, exactly. There is that. But I really didn't think I'd take wounds, and
mm.
I only did 3 wounds to him, which I was disappointed about. So I didn't even overcome the combat res without him wounding me.
Yeah.
And so I lost the combat, and he runs me down because I only ran
Oh.
four
Man.
inches. So that flank has gone completely pants,
Yeah.
if I'm honest. Completely
You've
and utterly pants.
been as
You
aggro as you
know,
can, and oh man.
exactly. I mean, I admit that the Kano standing in front of his unit was a bad idea, although as it turned out, it was only the Titan that did it. So just against the Titan was a bad idea.
Yeah.
So the actual unit mistake wasn't actually a factor. Anyway, I send my Tegu Mystics in to the slaughter to try and get in the way, stroke chaff, stroke speed bump as many of his units as possible. And oh, sorry, no, I'd
This is
already
his
moved
turn.
my
Yeah.
Tegu Mystics there. So this is his turn where he's
This is
resetting his
yeah.
old battlefield.
Yeah.
My Mystics had gone into there purely to like try and back up the Kaiman Mentor, thinking it would survive a turn.
Mm.
When it didn't, I was a bit like, oh, okay, yeah, my
Yeah.
Mystics are in the middle of nowhere, so that gives you a hint as to what I'm going to do with them next, really. And his blunderbusses moved forward to keep drilling the Tegu. He couldn't get out of line of sight of the Mentor, so there was that possibility of me still getting that flank charge off. Um, and yeah, we see what he does about it. He starts shooting with the pistols, the twice or thrice branded, getting their first shot of the game and kills a fair amount of Tegu Mystics. So even if I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them next, now I'm pretty sure they're just chaff.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair
Because
to Matty as well, every time it seems like he's focus firing.
he
So
is
he's
focus
doing it.
firing. He's very good at that. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good at that. Yeah, absolutely. So my units are getting neutered one by one basically, and the combat didn't go my way when I tried it. On the
Yeah.
left flank at least. On the right flank it did. So no complaints about my new guy. It's just the old guard that are dying. Newly painted models doing fine. I declare these charges. I didn't necessarily like the idea of the Tegu warriors into the front because I've lost half my unit nearly. He's got all the ranks in the world, etc. But I didn't. I also didn't like the idea of just the Kaiman in the flank.
Hmm.
I kind of wanted to do it both. And also, if I don't charge the Tegu Mystics, I just take another round of shooting from everyone.
Yeah, pretty
So I
standard,
may
yeah.
as well get in there and have a fight, really,
Yeah.
and
Did you
see what
charge? I
happens.
wasn't sure about this. Did you charge the war machine at the top?
I believe I did. Yes.
Okay.
I think I don't think anything else kills it. So yes, I believe the Kano has come around to kill the Naphtha thrower.
Stand and shoot.
Uh, yes, must have been. Yes, because they have stand and shoot on blunderbuss, I guess. So yeah, must have been that. And you see, I've moved my mystics into the field to chaff his other unit,
Mhm.
and also we worked out that if the Kadim Titan wanted to, well, it couldn't get to my Tegu warriors anymore because it would have to go through my mystics
You'd
first. So
overrun, yeah. Sure.
yeah, exactly. So that was the plan of putting the mystics there. I got foresight off on my unit. It seems to be my favorite spell of the game. Maybe it was just Matt was allowing me to have that one and spelling
Yeah.
everything else, which is fine. Um, and yeah, I went to town on this unit. I
Yeah,
hardly lost
nice.
any of my Tegu warriors as well, which is awesome. I guess he doesn't have a lot of attacks in combat. It's
No.
mainly about combat res for him. I think his Vizier's in there in the front. I could be wrong
Hmm.
about that. But yeah, the Kaiman Mentor on the side killed the load as well. And yeah, that was going well. And that this uses up his first turn of stubborn, I think. Or or
Sure, yeah.
or was it this turn? Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, he had first turn stubborn on all Infernal Dwarfs. Why they get that, I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. My baby Carnosaur has killed the Naphtha thrower, and
Okay, yeah.
is. I think I tried to over. Well, I think I overran with him, but didn't get very far. So he's still got a little bit of a charge to get into the next war machine, but it's doable. And I also
This is him
I
moving to
know this
Rampton.
is him countering to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had moved the Raptors so that they could get a charge on the mortar as well, but he decides that he doesn't need the Titan in the middle, which I do tend to agree with. He's got a whole untouched unit of Immortals there,
Yeah.
and he chaffs the Raptors with his Titan, and they don't want none of a Titan. You know,
No.
they're a unit, but they're not that much of a unit. And obviously, my
Yeah.
sorry little army is looking a
Yeah.
bit depleted with just 2 units of Skinks. It's not ideal. Oh boy, this is actually the rocket battery opening
Oh,
up,
yeah.
and it was hitting on I think fours. I think that's what they hit on because
Yeah.
it might have been that it should have hit on threes actually in retrospect because I was playing this guy as height 4,
Okay.
but actually he's height 5, so it might have been he should have had a +1 to hit
Okay.
in this battle.
Sure.
I find out later in the tournament. I think it was Joe who corrects me later on. And didn't matter that I wasn't giving him +1 to hit anyway, because he smashes all the hits, smashes all the wounds, and in one go, my
Ouch.
baby Carnosaur is killed to a rocket battery, and that is a really upsetting thing for me
Yeah.
getting his war machines at the back as well. That's what rocket batteries can do with their multiple
Yeah, it
wounds too.
is.
They just rip
Yeah.
through monsters. Thanks
Yeah,
for
for sure.
bringing monsters, lucky sixes. He gets the Infernal Dwarf flammable spell off on his unit to put flammable on my Tegu warriors, which is fine. Kills the mystics in the middle, as you would expect. But then I
Oh,
get a
baby.
reprieve. I get a reprieve because I take a fair amount of wounds from the Infernal warriors, but
Yeah.
I managed to win the combat. They're not stubborn anymore, but they're pretty good in terms of their discipline.
Mm,
And Matty, who had had a practice game a few days before the tournament and had failed a rerollable 10,
nice.
only
Strong.
goes and does it again
Oh,
and
incredible.
fails a rerollable. It was either 10 or 9, but he failed it. And it meant that I managed to run down his whole unit where I had no right to do that. I mean, I was
Very
probably
nice.
grinding out
Very
the combat
nice.
slowly, but
Yeah,
that's a
sure.
lot of points. A lot
Yeah.
of points. It means that I can overrun, well, no, pursue with both and get out of dodge a little bit. And Matty has to spend a turn turning around. You can see in my turn as well that the Raptors didn't fancy any part of the Titan,
Yeah,
so
good
just
idea.
moved back. And yeah, I was basically just getting out of the way of the flintlock axe throwers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're flintlock axes, not pistols. I think I said pistols earlier. Over here, he shoots his flintlock axes and kills a raptor, which is fair enough. And the Titan, puts his rear end in the face of the raptors
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to
Doesn't
block
even
block
care.
the war machine charge. Didn't care at all. This is me putting Awaken the Beast on my common mentor. Oh no,
After
it might
he's
be
taken
him
a few shots as well. Yeah.
taking a few shots. Yeah, drilled into me. I mean, again, multiple wounds 2 on the rocket battery is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. And then I think we skip a little bit of time because we were rushing through the end. This is our last picture. I'd charge 1 War Machine, the mortar with the Kaiman Mentor, and do a Fountain of Youth to heal a wound. The Tegu Warriors charge the rocket battery, kill it in combat, and then he counter charges with the Kadim. It needed like a 5 to complete the charge
Ooh,
to
okay.
get to
Close.
my Tegu Warriors, and he makes it. And what's crucial, he says crucial because it felt like it to me, less so, well, more so for Matt as well, in a good way for him, is that the only spoils of war was my Tegu Warriors killing his blunderbuss unit. Nothing
Mm,
else happened
okay.
in the whole fight because the Mystics weren't scoring. So he
Yeah.
didn't actually kill any of my scoring units because my skinks ran. So the only
Ah,
ones that were
right.
a factor was the Tegu Warriors.
Yeah.
But in order for them to claim that spoil of war, they had to survive the
Be
battle.
alive, yeah.
And through 3 Tegu Warriors or 4 Tegu Warriors against the Kadim Titan, you know which way that's going to go. So
Yeah.
I lost spoils of war because he made that Kadim Titan charge at the end.
Ooh, so close.
Um, and interestingly, if it had been old Ninth Age rules, after killing the War Machine, I could have overran off the board and been safe.
Yes, of
But
course.
now I hit the edge of the board and turn around and say, "Hey,
It's
Titan, come
just
kill us!"
it's a bath, isn't it?
Exactly,
You
yeah.
can't get
So
out.
that was annoying. But yeah, he made the charge, he got it, and there's that. So yeah, that was how we ended. It did mean Matty got the win. I didn't
Ooh.
claw it back on the
So
objective.
yeah, no
Yeah.
objectives effective in
No
it. So
secondary
just down to
objectives, and
points.
we drew spoils, so it was all down to points.
Yeah, great
Um,
game though.
I, Really good game, really good fun. I mean, Matt's a great opponent always, anyway, even if he is shooting you off the board ruthlessly, and destroying your dinosaurs in combat with units that I didn't feel he should have done.
Yeah,
But he was rolling very well for those, and fair play to him for taking the charge on, and not being scared of it. I was actually really glad to come out with 8 points, actually, because going
yeah.
into this
The
against an
start.
ID gun
Yeah,
line, it was pretty rough. Like even before deployment, I was thinking, oh, how am I going to get through that multiple wounds rocket battery, standing behind the rest of the ID, who are
yeah,
a problem as well, you
yeah.
know. Arguably, I should have brought the ambushing raptors on and done that, got to
Ambush
them
them.
that way. But
War Machine. You got all the War Machines in the world, man.
I thought I needed them as chaff, and then I went
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just chaffed with my actual alpha. So, oops. But yeah, awesome first game,
Right, I
Matty.
definitely need to chap on that side. Okay, yeah,
Uh,
chapped.
yep, you. Exactly. Awesome first battle. Thank you, Matt. It was brilliant. Good to see you back on the scene. I hope you can get some more games in this year.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, give us your comments on what you thought of my aggro tactics going into that one. Did I
Yeah.
pass the mission? Lucky Sixes, what's your verdict? Is that aggro enough for you,
Hey,
or did I?
you gave it a good. That's all we want. That's all we want
Let's
to see. Some
practice.
aggro stuff,
Yeah,
and that's your first time with this list
yeah,
as well. So you're like, okay,
ever.
just need to be a bit more
Yeah,
subtle with the alpha. So yeah, it's all good.
yeah. Learning curve, and
Yeah,
don't run a rocket battery with dinosaurs.
and you didn't get
You know,
20 into what is
I
arguably
didn't.
a bad matchup.
It was a
So
pretty bad matchup, I think. Yeah, I need to just remember that Matt will take the same list the next time I play him, and I need to tailor
just
to
tailor
be
process.
against
Yeah.
Matty's list because he
I've
won't
got 4
change.
units of ambushing raptors for some reason.
Yeah, none of them ambush. Yeah. Cool. No, really good fun. Give us your comments. Thank you, Magnetic Movement Tray and stuff. Thank you, Warhol. Thank you, all our sponsors and Patreon people. If you want to join those wonderful people, then do so. Otherwise, find us in the usual places, and we will rock into round 2 of Art of War. Oh, I should say that I won the gambling war between me and Matty. I got more
Oh,
rerolls during the
oh,
battle.
cool.
But they were largely ineffective.
Yeah,
No, that
still a nil.
wasn't true. I think one of them allowed me to cast a spell that I otherwise wouldn't have cast.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I didn't take note of the actual dings. But it was really cool having it in the battle, and it was good fun. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing all about all the
mm,
Art of War stuff because it was definitely
yeah,
fun coming up with it
it
with
really
Dan
was.
and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
yeah,
yeah, no, excellent battle report
really cool.
as always. Find us
Mm,
on the social medias, etc., etc. We've got
hmm
Urk Orc is finishing, so we are looking currently at
mm,
time of recording at
yes.
least for some games. So do hit us
Uh-huh.
up and remind us our forgetful
Obligations.
heads
what we agreed to do
about
at the
some
start of the
games and stuff. Some of you already have, and that's we really appreciate that, and we want to get them done in the next few weeks. So, yeah. Otherwise, thanks very much for the report, and look forward to round 2.
Round 2, here we come, 8 points.
Yeah. Until then, see you later.